turn this. Hey, Friday night. Chris Sarandon, Roddy McDowell. And everybody's been returning to vampire movies lately, man. I've always wondered what it would be like to be Charlie Brewster. Charlie Brewster.
You can find out what it's like to be Charlie Brewster. When?
January the 30th, guys. What time?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Kings of Horror. What are we showing?
Friday night.
The stage play. Written by James Michael Schoberg. Based on the film written and directed by... Not Spider-Man.
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland. Can't believe you forgot Tom Holland.
You forgot last time, man.
January 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Kings of Horror. Welcome to Fright Night.
For real.
For real?
For real.
Did you watch my video?
Yes, I did. It was really cute, and I liked it. I don't know how I missed it. I'm really sad. I'm sorry. I see everything else I like and comment on all the other things, including your inappropriate shirt, Mikey.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
It's not, hang on 1 second.
That's Lance's new,
No, it's me. Because I'm using but my old computer. I haven't changed the settings for this microphone, so who knows what it's doing.
well, you sound good, so.
Thank you.
No. Well, no, I was just saying Lance was humming our new theme song.
He's humping our new theme song.
The new theme song he's supposed to write for us, and yet I haven't heard. And you've had band practice like every weekend now. So that's what the two of you could be doing, is getting this done.
Oh my gosh.
I stopped asking him about it. I was like, he probably isn't even going to do it. So let's just move on.
No, he's going to do it.
Yeah, just the one song. Just like,
okay, so go.
I mean, we only need like a minute.
Go ahead and start singing for us now then.
I haven't words yet.
Oh, you don't have any words yet?
We'll have to figure that
Do you have
out.
a melody?
No, nothing. Yeah, it might just be music. Who
No,
knows?
it has to
I
include
don't know
every
yet.
word you've made up from the show.
It should.
Come join us in our tropes.
So
Yeah. With our what was it? It was nymphs and imps. What did you call them? Imps.
Nymphs.
Imps.
Oh well.
Well, welcome to Slashers, folks, and thanks for coming along and hanging out with us. I'm here with my two cohorts and colleagues. This is gonna be Aid and Mikey. Are you guys ready? What's new? What's happening?
Hi everybody. I'm ready. I forgot what else you said. It also sounded like you were saying cohors, so careful with enunciations.
It's all about you, how you hear it. So.
No, not with you.
No. No. Yeah, no. I thought I heard cool horror. And I'm like, oh,
Code
okay.
horse.
Okay.
You guys are cool hordes.
Hey everybody, it's Aid. Wondering where Lance gets his vocabulary. Supposed to be writing us.
Well, you guys have red flags and I have vocabulary.
Well, you're supposed to be writing us a song, so I'm going to need to proofread that before we give it the go ahead.
I enunciate when I sing. It's just not when I'm doing this stuff with you guys. You know how it goes.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, let's go through our normal thing. Anything new with you all? Anything happening? I have a couple of cool news things, but I'll let you guys go first and tell me what's going on. What's up?
I'll go first, I guess. Well, I'm excited because if you haven't seen, because you're not a Patreon member, we reviewed upcoming trailers for January/February. It's a whole issue. If you want to hear the yelling and screaming about it, subscribe to our Patreon. But it included trailers from the Pooniverse, which again, I just think of Poo Nanny, and What's Winnie the Pooh's grandma's name?
I don't know.
Pooh Nanny.
Nana?
Who nanny? Yes, I got
Um,
it.
but we saw two Popeye trailers and Peter Pan. Was there another one? No, I think that was it. We talked about how the Peter Pan one actually looked like really good. And just so happens
Yeah.
at book club yesterday, one of the guys who's also really into horror was like, "Does anybody want to go see the Peter Pan one with me tomorrow?" And I was like, "Bitch, you know I do. Don't even ask. Just tell." So I'm gonna go watch that tonight, tomorrow. As far as things that I already saw, I saw a movie called "I'll Never Let You Go." It was I was really into it, and then the ending is just, overall it was good. It was decent. It was pretty creepy. I don't think it's streaming anywhere. I had to rent it. Yeah. And yeah, it was pretty good. About a house haunted by a witch. So,
Mm.
I'm really into
Nice.
witchy shit right now.
Hmm.
Mm,
That's all.
the witchy one.
Well, I'm excited for Peter Pan, so you'll have to let us know what you thought. I don't think I'll have time to see it this week. But I watched yesterday the Horror's Greatest episode on killer couples or like killer
Mm.
relationships.
So
And
basically, it was everything that you and Mikey love.
yes,
No. I only
No,
like
no red
one of
flags.
them to be the killer, and the other ones can change him.
Ah,
that's true. Yeah, we're
okay.
here to make them better. But which was interesting because they talked about a lot of relationships that went awry, and one of the worst dates they had deemed was the Bride of Frankenstein because she ultimately, rejects him. And I'm like, oh, I know, that's so sad because, we like to romanticize their relationship and like they're actually together when, they just end up
I like how you
everybody
say that's
dying.
sad when you want her to be forced into this relationship when she has her own free will. If they were not monsters and it was an arranged marriage, you'd be like, fuck those guys, me, and burning your bra all over the place. Um, but no,
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's more of the monster is
hopeful.
always, yeah, and he's treated so poorly. And even when I read Frankenstein, I always take the monster side because he is never really loved by anything, right? And no one wants him. Victor immediately turns his back on him and leaves him to his own devices. And he doesn't know how to behave. He doesn't know how to be. And nobody's there to teach him or like show him compassion. And people just, revere him as a monster because of what he looks like. And it's just so sad because he feels in his heart if he has someone else who looks like him or who is like him, that maybe they will love him and not look at him as though he were a monster. And she does anyways. And I always feel like Tiffany in the bathtub during Bride of Chucky, crying with my champagne right before, I get electrocuted.
Hmm.
And, it's just one of those things because it's sad. It's just very sad for me. Like I'm just very sad about that. But anyways, one of my favorites, one of my favorite characters, obviously.
You know what's
So.
also fucked up is that's the whole premise or that's the whole like moral of the first Frankenstein, but yet he's still considered Universal Monsters like scariest. Like he's a monster and he's in haunted houses and he's used to scare people. It's like that's not the point of Frankenstein's monster. But I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all know. But I had to do research for up and coming movies today for the side projects that I'm in locally here for Sublimation Cinema. And Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein should be coming out this year. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I wonder if he's going to include anything about the bride.
It'll just look like Hellboy, basically, but green.
Well, I
No
did
Lance.
Oh, just saying.
Lance. No.
What?
He
He has a style.
well, no, because he did a great job with um what is it, the water? What the hell's
Oh,
the
Yeah, you know who that looked like? It looked like Al from Hellboy.
well,
Exactly like
I
him.
mean, he also went full CGI and did Don't
he
Be Afraid
looked
of the Dark. And those don't look like Hellboy
Yeah.
things.
Well, it's only because it's
I
CGI.
didn't
It
think
probably
he
didn't.
looked like that. I
It
thought he
didn't
looked like
stand for.
Gilman. No?
That's what basically Al is from Hellboy.
Anyway.
I'm just
The
saying.
Shape of
I'm
Water, but
just saying.
also he did Devil's Backbone, which he has ghosts in. There's no creature because I think he's probably gonna go more realistic and less creature from Hellboy.
Mm.
Yeah. And then I also saw footage or like a snippet or pictures of Maggie Gyllenhaal's Bride, which is going to have Christian Bale as the creature or the monster, I should say. My bad. However, I don't know how
Don't come after her. Go after her.
what happened?
I'm just kidding. You know how you make a mistake, all these people jump on you. Next thing you know, it's in our sweet uh
Oh,
chat.
what, the comment section on
Whatever.
YouTube I don't want pay attention to?
With
Hmm.
your fault, with
Yeah.
your fake news. But also Hollywood needs to take some responsibility for Christian Bale's health and stop giving him these parts. He's gonna have to, and he will put his body through some major
Oh yeah,
transformation. Like,
dude, the machinist
well, and
alone
then the
is
most recent
crazy.
one he did, he's like obese. So it's like super fit for American Psycho, super emaciated for The Machinist, and super obese for whatever that movie was. And I'm like, homeboy,
Well,
you're
he was
getting
Dick
too old for that.
Cheney.
Yeah,
It was
Remember, he
what?
was Dick Cheney.
Oh, I thought you said
yeah, it was the
Dratini.
chain.
I was like, the Pokemon?
No,
Well, I mean,
Dick Cheney. Jesus.
well, the funny part too is he went right from the machinist to Batman,
Hmm.
like, and he added all that muscle and everything like that. But I think he was saying that one of his regimens for the machinist was literally he was eating apples,
Yeah.
like not healthy at all
Mm-mm.
to lose weight
Nope.
like that.
Well, he was
So
supposed to look like a crackhead anyway, so. But I only got through so much of that movie because that movie's just horrible. Like, nothing about it.
it's rough.
I didn't bother
It
watching it.
it makes you feel like dirty and gross, and like I felt like shit halfway through, and like I knew something awful was about to happen, and I'm like, I'm good.
Talk about body morphia type horror type style for that one would be a little bit in that
Mhm.
would be
Mikey.
pretty ruthless.
Mhm.
Mikey.
What?
That should be the title of Lance's new
Body
Slashers
morphia.
podcast song, Body Morphia.
It's the same thing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean. Anyways, some other news going on as well. Actually, which is kind of cool. I think I sent you guys this in the chat, but I think Bloody Disgusting just jumped on it today as well. But Full Moon, which is actually doing a auction off of some really cool stuff. They're actually auctioning Puppet Master stuff. They're actually doing, I think, demonic toys. I think there is a evil bong. There might be even a ginger dead man, actual puppet and stuff like that. They're actually auctioning off, and plus a lot of cool movie posters and like European ones and different ones like that. There's one that I really want, and I see only $100, which I was kind of looking into. Maybe one of my favorite movies uh, is Trancers,
Oh,
which is a really
yeah.
cool series that I really like. More sci-fi, really more than anything. But yeah, I guess
With Helen Hunt.
Charles Band. Yeah. The first two ones,
I
Helen Hunt
wonder
was in both of
if,
those.
now that you mention it, because, my first reaction is, uh-oh, they're in financial trouble. But also, like, those smaller studios that make these independent films, I wonder if their shit's all ruined right now because of the fires and if they're going to come back from it. Because a lot of celebrities' houses are completely demolished, but like, Full Moon or even like trauma offices are destroyed. Do they have the finances? As Tiger King would say, I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Yeah, no, I mean that's another thing too. Shout out to anybody out in California. Luckily, Doug and Yahira are good. My brother and my sister-in-law are really good. Hopefully, Jake is good as well. I don't know where the fires are completely. I haven't been keeping 100% on top of that, other than actually us talking to the people we
Yeah.
know, and they seem
If Doug and
fine.
Yahira are
But I
good,
mean,
Jake should be good because he lives farther east and they said that it hasn't reached them. So,
Yeah, I spoke to Jake.
yeah,
He's fine, but unfortunately his grandfather lost his house, so
oh shit.
he's dealing with that right now. So it's really scary, I think, because the winds can push it anyway. So I'm just worried about all of them because where their direction is, if the winds were to go that way, it could possibly take it that way.
yeah,
So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird because I don't realize how many of the not fitness, the YouTube channels I watch, people are from Los Angeles. And like there is an updated video today of one that I didn't even think of like, yep, lost everything. Don't know what's gonna happen to my channel. I was like, damn, that's crazy. And he's like walking around his street, like showing everything, and the only thing standing is just fireplaces.
Wow. I mean, that's crazy. And the thing about that too, like you said, I mean, this could be a situation for the auction where maybe it is to help, Full Moon's production company side of things, and maybe I don't know, maybe one of their warehouses got burnt down, and this is what they have. We don't know. I think the auction ends on the 22nd of this month. So it'll be 2 days after this comes out when you hear about this. So you still have an opportunity, 2 days to make an auction and try to buy something. Probably really cool. I mean, and something that was actually in the movie or something that was in the prep for the movie or even original artwork from certain things, which is really cool. I went through some of it, and some of it's really cool. Obviously, some of it's like $400, $500. Some of it now is like $1,000 because people are making bids on it. But you think about that, I mean, you're actually owning something from the movie.
Yeah.
So I'd be pretty cool. You guys should definitely check it out. Definitely help Full Moon out. Help Charlie Band do his thing and sell some items. And hopefully it isn't for mostly destruction, but again, you never know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Crazy. Well, our hearts are
Cool,
with
cool,
you guys
cool.
if you're in California. We hope everything works out and that everybody's safe, most importantly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, well, since we are done with all the news and all the stuff and hoping that everybody's good and gone, not gone.
Wow,
God.
Lance. You're supposed to say,
I know.
speaking of horror's greatest and discussing killer couples, today we're coming to you live with.
See, I didn't even have to say it. You did it
It's
for me. I love
setting
it.
it up, but you still
Yeah.
failed to hit it out of the park.
I
So,
know. Could you just finish the
This is
sentence?
gonna be our movie, our new movie. Basically, we're doing new movies for the month, and our new movie that just came out, like what I think a couple days
Yeah.
ago,
Friday.
probably.
4 days
Yeah.
ago, yeah.
Yeah, 4 days ago. Shutter original. It's going to be Getaway, which has Nick Frost in it, which you can see most of the people in Mikey's background and the kids actually from Aid's background if you're watching us on YouTube. Yeah, you kind of blocked the kids, Mikey.
Wow. Okay, I'm
Yours.
sorry.
I'm
I'm trying to lose weight, Lance.
Wow.
That's okay. I'm blocking the parents in my photo, so it all worked out.
I will say before we begin, the movie went somewhere I didn't expect, so it is new if you haven't seen it. We're probably going to talk about the ending, so just watch it if you want to watch it. It's on Shutter.
Mm.
Yeah, we definitely have a spoiler month, really, because it's like
Yeah.
there's no real way because everything's new. There's not too much that we don't really kind of spoil, but we'll try our best. But we really aren't good at that. So there that is. Let's see. The tag phrase for this sweet movie is "Get ready for a killer holiday," which seems pretty accurate for this movie. I would say. What do you guys think?
That's accurate, but if you actually have the Shutter plot line, that's not accurate.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? It says something
Yeah,
different.
it says something completely like it says something like a family goes on vacation to an island where they discover there's a serial killer on the loose.
Yeah, I did see that. And then I
Yeah.
was confused when I watched the movie.
Yeah, because it's not even like what you think is about. That's not even what you think it about. Like the twist that I'm talking about isn't related to that at all. Like,
No,
That's kind of funny. I was like,
because they don't even
I think.
discover that in the movie.
yeah, there's, I don't know. Go ahead, Lance.
Yeah, no, I mean it's that's very much misleading, but I guess it would work along with what you're trying to do in the movie, kind of, I guess, but just to keep people kind of guessing throughout the thing. So basically, this movie
Mm.
is basically Nick Frost and his family. I'm assuming they're coming from England, but I think she
She's
might
Irish.
be Irish.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of understand that they're a couple, and I don't know how easy it is Irish and English are kind of like the ones that usually are not really too cool with each other, or is it
And from the 90s.
no, it's Irish. Yeah. Because usually if you have an Irish any kind of couple with a English, ideal couple, usually it's not too, I guess, frowned upon or something like that. Would you say that still, or would you say that maybe that's kind of past that point since it's later on
I
now?
think it's probably past that point. And I owe Irish women an apology. The other day I said Irish is a hot accent, but only for men. I love this mother is so adorable and cute, and her accent is perfectly fine and feminine, and she's adorable. So I apologize, everybody.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, there it is.
but yeah, I don't. It's so funny because in America, when you have these, because the movie is basically about like colonization ultimately, and
Hmm.
Yeah.
but it's so confusing because it's white people colonizing white people. In America, it's the white people colonizing the brown people, so you can easily distinguish who's who. Uh,
Who's good?
I
Who's
know, and
bad?
not, but it's see up there, they're all the same color. They just have different accents, and you're trying to figure out, wait, what war was this? What period was this? So,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Hey, what'd you think?
Well, about the whole, well, no, because I know that it's like there's like a feud with Northern Ireland and the rest of Ireland,
yeah.
and so I think that a lot of people are still like that don't get along, but it's I really don't think that's an issue because even what did we just watch? We just watched Oddity. Were they all of them are Irish? I guess they all were. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Whatever.
so.
Yeah, today the British and Irish governments have strong partnerships, but they do have a long history of conflict. So,
So,
I
Right, right.
think it's
Well,
I mean, not to get too off topic, but the Irish have bad relationships with them, like Americans, like back when the Irish were coming over here, because they were considered like, this is not my, everybody, I'm Mexican, I'm coming from a place of empathy, but
yeah.
Irish were kind of seen as like the trash white.
Yeah, I mean, they
we
didn't want them here because they all had to come because of the potato famine, and then it was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
So, what did they call them? They had a name for them, but I won't say it. Anyway,
Yeah. The more you know, we're here to educate.
the more you know.
That's mostly
So,
from New York, though. Down south, we love everybody.
yeah,
well, good thing about it is they basically are taking their family to Sweden for a holiday or vacation for American people. Um, and I guess it was filmed in Finland, even though it's supposed to be in Holland or Sweden.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool little mix up. I mean, I'm sure their coastal line looks about the same, or some of the islands.
I would
So
imagine so.
it's probably an easy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did you guys like the dynamic of the family kind of right off the bat? Like that was one of the things that it seemed like they were trying to give you a little bit in the beginning of this movie. Did you like what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, Nick Frost is always adorable. Um,
Yeah.
hmm
I loved the mom the whole way through, just her carefree, lackadaisical, like silly, funny, like whatever. Like I would like to think that that's kind of my parenting style. The kids were fine. They weren't, the son has an attitude. The girl, surprisingly, because I usually don't care for that kind of hair, is very pretty. Um, and she was cool too. And so there's no one that you really hate in the family or no one that you're like, ugh, annoying. They were just, but it starts off very lighthearted. I almost thought this was going to be like a scary movie type comedy, but we'll
Right.
revisit that later.
yeah.
Hey, what'd you think of the
I
family?
mean, the family was fine. Like, I picked up on some things at the beginning, and then they sort of make sense at the end. But I did like the mom a lot. The only thing I didn't, well, their choices were so ridiculous. But then you see the end and you know why. So it's like,
Yeah.
a lot of problems that I had at the beginning, they made sense later. So,
Which I think why I said I thought it was going to be like scary movie because you're like, y'all are so stupid. But this is kind of like a hokey, jokey parody. And it just
Mhm.
dawned on me what actually happened to the restaurant people.
Yeah.
You didn't know that in the beginning?
No, because I thought the restaurant people it was the Swedish people that came, or the people on the ferry that kept trying
Right.
to get them not to go over, but they insisted. I thought they killed them because of them letting the family go.
hmm
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think the only reason I didn't think that right off the bat, which is kind of a thing that kind of gave him away of what was going to happen, was he had when he went to go get his wallet back, he had
Blood.
Oh,
a
the
stain
ketchup
on
stain.
his, yeah,
That's
which could have been.
right.
Detective Lance over here. Jeez.
Well, it seems too crazy. That I was like, but at the same time, I mean, you don't know, and like they leave it open for you to have that same thought that Mikey has, where it's kind of like, oh, was it because they were told not to let them on, or was they like the first defense in the line of keeping people off the island? Second defense would probably be the people on the boat. By the way, how did you guys like all the boat people and stuff like that? Was that like something like that was more of a comical moment, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, these people really don't care. These people don't
Yeah.
welcome here. Like they don't take signs
Well,
well.
again, it was to me, I was like, this is not a serious comedy. It's almost like a parody because if any right person in their mind would see that, they'd be like, oh, let's not go there because these people look like they're going to kill us.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were hostile from the very beginning, from the moment they were in the diner to the ferry to when they get there, and then just the fucking creep ass guy from Azrael renting out the house.
Oh, that is where he's from,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, he looks
Yeah.
familiar. The non-existent eyebrows.
Now, here's my real question though: is okay. So far, they have two situations where they've been stopped. Basically, the one guy at the diner grabs his arm. I mean, and grabs it decently hard, I guess. And then you have the boat people who are saying that, and then like the actual ferry people, the people who are giving the ride, and then the actual people
The
on the boat.
commune.
At what point? Yeah, at what point would you have already said no to this? Like, I mean, would there have been already like, would you have even gotten on this
No,
boat?
I would have
You
because I would have been like, okay, they obviously hate gay people. Let me go ahead and like, you know, I was gay in the 90s,
Nice.
folks. I know how these things end. I've seen those movies. Um,
Well, especially I just thought it was very like a naive of them because, they're isolated on this island. They are surrounded by people. They know that the people are coming to the house in the middle of the night with, masks and pitchforks and all this bullshit. And yet they still stay. And I know that once they got there and the boat was there, they couldn't leave. But when the lady licked her face,
oh yeah.
get your ass back on the boat. Like at this point, I mean, obviously we know later, but what can this family of four do
Yeah.
against a horde of people, right? Especially people who are clearly hostile, want nothing to do with them there. And then the mom had the nerve to tell them that one of her ancestors was one of the colonizers that came and died on the
That's right.
island. What the fuck?
Yeah, because she mentioned, because so just if you haven't seen the movie, there's a festival going on. I can't pronounce it. It starts with a K. Um,
Karen Tan.
Karen Tun. There's a festival going on that celebrates basically like when the inhabitants of this island revolted against the English people that tried to come and conquer the land or whatever, and they ended up eating them. So there's an 8 hour long play that they go on, and the mom's always wanted to see this play, and she's interested in it because her ancestor is one of the colonizers that was murdered. So when she tells them, "Oh, well, like my great whatever uncle, family member, whatever is from the island or something, or died on the island," she had a little moment of like almost being accepted, where the head leader was like, "Who was it?" She's like, "Oh, one of the colonizers," and she was like,
Um, I know.
That was so great.
And then
She almost like lost her shit, like right there. I was like, I think she might murder you
yeah,
right here.
yeah, I don't know. It was just the thing is, and this is another thing too, like all of this is good, right? But then it's the pacing in this movie for me was very off. And I think what was off about it was to me was this is the point now where it's going back and forth between all of these points of view instead of just seeing the lens through the family. And I don't mind seeing the townsfolk point of view, but it was just I don't know, it was just dragging. Like I'm thinking Nick Frost wrote this
oh,
like
did
this
he?
part. Yeah, he wrote it.
Hmm.
And so
He wrote it and produced it,
He
actually.
wrote, produced it, and someone else directed it. But I mean, because he wanted to write a folk horror movie. There's a lot of cool facts about it because this was in production or like in you know trying to be something for since 2019.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so well, I'll let Lance read the things I found, but I'm just like for me, I just oh my God, like I don't like who are we supposed to empathize with? Because I think the people being more mysterious for me would have been scarier because now everyone seems like a bumbling idiot in this town. Like when you see things through the townsfolk point of view, like they're all kind of
Yeah. It's very Shaun
like,
of the Dead.
yeah,
That
but
kind of humor.
it's not that funny. Like Shaun of the Dead was really funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't think this was that funny. So I don't know if it was trying to be funny or if it was trying to be like the I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
It also had like it had very Hot Fuzz-esque because it deals with a town type people. So I don't know if Nick Frost had a little bit more to do with Hot Fuzz in some of the writing. I can't remember if he did or not. So I mean, it has very esque of that kind of vibe. Because again, you have yes, I know I said
No, it's
vibe.
not what
You can
I'm
count it.
not, I'm just wondering what an
But
esque is.
And it's
Um,
very esque.
very esque. There's a
it's
prefix that
very
you need to
nice.
add before that.
Do I
Yes.
though? No, you guys in your
Don't know.
English.
I'm a fucking English teacher, Lance.
I'm not, and I
I'm
still
American.
know.
I just say whatever.
Well, irregardless. Um,
See, there's another word.
so I agree it wasn't very funny. There wasn't really a sense of danger because it did seem kind of lighthearted. I didn't really feel like the family was in danger throughout the whole thing. It felt lighthearted. When I say it wasn't funny, I don't really count it against it because I felt like it wasn't trying to be funny like Shaun of the Dead. That is a comedy. I don't think this was trying to be a comedy. I think it was just kind of be like, I think it was just trying to throw you off. And so the movie is about, I think, an hour and 26 minutes because I saw it in two parts, in two nights. I saw the first half and then I saw the second half. Maybe that's why it didn't seem like it ran on for me. Um, I was also really stoned the first time I watched the first half, but uh, it was, I agree to a little bit that it dragged in the middle. Um, but once the elders get with Matt's, which I'm like, yeah, that's plural. It's Matt. Um, and Sven Svensson. So once the elders decide that we're going to eat this family, because they haven't eaten people in 30 years, that's something that they do in their tradition to celebrate the original whatever it was, and they haven't done it in so long. Like this is going to be the time where we eat these outsiders. And then he makes the cookies. That's when I was like in back in till the end.
Right. I did you guys think so to me technically some of the storyline where you have Matt
Matt's.
who Matt's has like a kind of a creepy kind of vibe going on with you see that at some point where obviously somebody is watching in the house. You kind of got the idea the way they're at least looming at the mirror that there's something behind the mirror of the girl's
Yeah.
room. It had that kind of thing going on. They never really explain how his mom got her head cut off. Like when he was saying like in that chair, like they had that moment where he's like, "Yes, my mother had her head chopped off
Yeah,
right there in her
that
favorite
was
chair," and Nick Frost is like,
Yeah.
like that. Like, or my favorite too is like when she asked if he got the Parmesan or the chicken. He goes, "I didn't get the Parmesan
Oh yeah.
or the chicken," and he
Like,
walks.
did you go shopping for us? Yes. Okay, the paprika. The paprika
Yeah, the
chicken
paprika.
isn't
That's
gonna make itself. But I didn't get the paprika. I didn't get the chicken. Um, there was parts also that I felt were kind of icky that make a little more sense as to why maybe that wasn't so icky. Because like when Matt's had a really weird infatuation with the daughter, that I was assuming was like a 17, 16 maybe. I was like, why isn't she freaking out? Like a normal teenage girl would be like, Mom, this guy is smiling at me weird. Like he like follows close behind her into the room, and I'm like, this is weird. And then she takes a bath, and I was like, this is kind of weird. I mean, obviously this actress is above 18, but I'm like, I like this is a weird underage bathtub scene for a teenage girl for this time period. I'm like, I feel weird watching this. Um,
But more accepted in Europe, though, age gaps like that, though, right? I mean, for all purposes, I
I
mean, Europe
mean,
does
Europe
have a lot.
has they have less hangups about nudity because there wasn't nudity to begin with, but it showed enough for
Right.
American to be uncomfortable. But they don't have a lot of hangups in regards to nudity. But it was still a little. Aid, go ahead. I know Aid wants
Right.
to jump in here.
I know. It's just like,
Well, once again, it's all explained at the end
Yeah,
because she's kind of
she's a fake
like
daughter.
well, but she's also the way that she's interacting with him is disgusting. Like, she knows he's watching her through the mirror.
Yeah.
And then she does that little heart. She breathes the heart on the mirror. And there's like things that make sense later when she asks if the brother stole her underwear to
Oh
sniff
yeah.
it.
She's like, I don't care if you did, and I was like, you should, because that's weird.
Yeah. But then at the end you figure out why like everything's explained at the end,
Yeah.
which I think is such a cool way to end it. Because I mean, I will say for much of the movie I didn't care for. Like I liked the beginning, the middle of it, did not care. I did not care about this play.
Yeah.
Well, they showed like the 8 hour fucking play. They showed like 7 hours of the 8 hour play, everybody. So what the
well,
fuck?
I mean,
Like all of that was not needed. There was
Yeah.
so much of it
did
that just, and I looked up, Simon Pegg also wrote Hot Fuzz. So you know what, Nick Frost, we love you, but you know, let Simon write these from now on. Um,
or co-write
I
these.
know, like let him edit. I don't
Go
know.
Let him read the final draft. Um,
So-
I loved also that they weren't guilted into stuff because one of the annoying things that I've actually read pieces on in regards to like why people, Americans specifically in horror films, get these overseas horror films, they'll get guilted into situations and people are like, well, why did you do that? And it's like, well, Americans get guilted into a lot of stuff. And so when they're like, the commune actually wants you to come to the play now. They save seats for you because before they were all insulted, and now that they decided they're going to eat them, they're like, "No, come!" And they're on the way to the beach, like,
yeah.
"No, thanks." And he's like it's 8 hours long. We'll be there later. So they're just like walk away, like no, not even a second thought.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you find that very Canadian-esque, like them jumping in the water? I mean, it had to be cold. Like it didn't look like summer. And, like it was like people were definitely dressed up to be warm, and like they're jumping in that water. Like I was like, there must be like that Canadian version of like when they come down here to Florida when it's cold to everybody here, and like it's like, oh no, we're going to the beach. You're like, what?
No, I think it was summertime.
It was summertime.
Was it?
Yeah,
But again, they're in Sweden. And I
yeah.
don't know the weather in
Uh,
Sweden, but I've seen the girl with the dragon tattoo, and their winters look fucking miserable. So I imagine that their summers are not that hot either.
just, just as miserable
It
as
gets
Canadian.
warm.
Yeah.
I have a lot of coworkers in Sweden. We talk about weather a lot because a lot of them, I think because the winters are so bad, a lot of them take a whole month off in summertime to just enjoy it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the villagers wanted to eat all the family. They wanted to get their 200th anniversary, which is what it is. This time frame right now is their 200th anniversary of the crimes of humanity that were committed against them and them to
The
others.
Karantan.
Tarantanan.
The Karantan.
But I mean, my thing is, at any point, when was the first time you realized, outside of the actual the changeover from the family? Spoilers, folks. So you're not, if you want to watch this series, this is probably where we start getting into more of the telltale spoilers of how the movie ends and how everything goes.
Mm.
But what was your first idea of the, oh shit, it's the family? Like, was there a spot that you thought that was what it was, or was it right until the end where the daughter actually starts stabbing Mats?
Well, it was definitely when she blew she made the heart. She blew. She put her breath on the mirror and made the heart, knowing that guy was on the other side. But I knew
Mm.
there's just something off. I'm like, there's gonna be something Like I just figured something was gonna happen. So,
I took a little longer because I'm slow. Um,
but I thought it was just
I
her. I didn't think it was,
well, yeah, because you know how like it's one like it's a cool girl thing to do. Um,
yeah.
but for me, and this is very random and weird, but what the movie does really well is it has these scenes where I'm like, this doesn't feel right, without like being so expletive about what they're trying to say. And for some reason, when they were in the water and it was the aerial shot of the daughter on the plank, almost like cabin fever, and everyone swimming around her, just the music, the way it was shot was like a little sinister. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Mm,
And also too, because they kept saying, I need this, I need this, like I need this vacation. I really need
Yeah.
this. And there was just something, it's not overt. So there's a lot of, I think, parts that do work. Like so, like that, for example, works because I was thinking about this morning when I was thinking about this movie again. And I'm like, there was a scene where like when he came back and he had the ketchup, right? But also when he left his wallet, and I remember thinking, oh, he's gonna lose his wallet throughout the movie, and that's how they get trapped, right? But then he goes back and gets it.
right.
Yeah.
So like, well, what was the point of that? And then you realize, oh, that was the point because he needed to go back
Back and kill them.
to kill the people in the diner. And then, that was the whole purpose of he left the wallet on purpose for that reason. And like I was like, oh, that's really good because I'm like, why would they show us that? And then him not leaving the wallet after all, like what was the point of that? Now we know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, another thing that I thought they were trying to lead you into was because the way Matt's was talking to the daughter, there was a moment where I was like, oh, I wonder if uh the daughter and Matt's were communicating through the thing because they said they found it on Airbnb. And I was wondering if she was talking to him all the time and maybe it was something that they were going to do by killing the parents and killing people in the thing, or killing the parents and blaming the people of the village.
Mhm.
So I thought that might have been a thing, but then I was thrown off a little bit by obviously the elder lady going to talk to him, also weirdly kissing him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I think about
On the mouth.
it, she did a lot of, yeah. I was like, okay, but I mean, obviously you find out Matt's is kind of a pervert who has lots of cameras in his mom's house and is masturbating quite a lot to all the things that are going on in there. And it seemed like the daughter obviously was enjoying herself, but that was kind of added to my thought process of maybe the daughter and him are plotting something too, like he was like missing her or something like that. But I guess who was your favorite kill scenario? Like who was the as a slaughtering happens to where the whole family starts murdering everybody in the village, and when you find out that basically the whole family is in on being serial killers, I guess who was your favorite kill? Either one.
Well, it's not so much the kill itself, but the guy who made the waffles. They chopped his head off, which like that was fine, but at the end they're like, your waffles are dry as fuck. Because that was a little like, you know, I liked that. But I thought it was kind of disturbing because when they're doing the play, there's a little boy. He's like, I didn't know they were dead. Like in the play, like while he's, his delivering his lines. And when they're killing the
Mm,
people in the costumes that are small, I'm like, I think these are children. And they're like, it's not a quick death. They're like chasing them around, and like each one of the fighters is stabbing through the costume with
Mhm.
all of their weapons. And I'm like, I think that's the little boy that was in the play.
Oh, yeah, they definitely did not discriminate because I mean, there was like a young girl too. I like at the front of the line when Nick Frost is going after everybody and he grabs her and just starts stabbing the shit out of her. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And it's very violent and
Yeah.
which is such a contrast to like what they portrayed themselves as. So like, they're basically this wholesome family until they aren't. And there are snippets in the movie that kind of show you that they might be a little off, and then that just obviously solidifies it.
It was also kind of cool when he chopped off the swan's beak, not a real swan, but the costume swan. It chopped
Oh,
off
yeah,
the
like
the
right
girl's nose under the,
yeah.
because those were like pretty brutal. And at that moment, I was like, are we supposed to be on their side?
Yeah.
Why? Because like they're killing cannibals, but also like, and that, the twist also leaves a lot of questions that are unanswered because at first I was like, oh, she's getting revenge for her ancestor, I guess, even though he was kind of in the wrong in the beginning for trying to colonize. But then,
Or was it a lie?
but it could have been because they mentioned something about like they obviously answer to like a hierarchy of people. And they're like a group
Mm.
of, it's an established family set by something because they have to get people to portray their children. And spoiler alert, they kill the son, which I thought was kind of stupid. They
Mm.
kill not the villagers, but Nick Frost kills his quote unquote son because he just wouldn't stop mouthing off. And like, and then the mom's like, I'm gonna have to talk. She's like, I'm gonna have to talk to someone for like 2 hours to explain this. So there's like a, I don't know if it's like a contract killer out there or something that's putting this family together, but I don't know.
I think you're right. You know, I mean, they do have like a hierarchy, but I think at the same time, I think like an AOL chat, with just other serial
Yeah.
killers who do this for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they definitely targeted them. And that oh, so what I was about to say, which I thought was interesting, is that, the whole movie, you feel like they're in danger because there's so many of these people, and these people are so menacing. And when you come down to it, they're a bunch of bitches. Like,
Yeah.
how did this happen? Like, I mean, I could see them stabbing a few people or whatever, but there's enough people to overpower these four people, and they don't all stay together. They split up and kill people, right? So you're really just dealing with one person. But
Mhm.
that's how bumbling these idiots are, right? Like they're like, "Oh, we're going to eat these people, so let's poison them with the cookies." But we
Yeah.
we don't we can't really do the job other unless they're, incapacitated in some way because clearly they don't know how to to
Yeah.
defend themselves.
Well, in the beginning, they used the element of surprise to kill most of the people because they would always like group off. I mean, it was still a large group, but they would split up the villagers and kill like a group of them and then go back. Because really, the only one who was like down to clown was old lady Time there. But obviously, she's not going to do anything because she's old, but she wanted to.
Well, yeah, and it seemed like the younger kids weren't really into like, well, hey, that's been like 30 years ago, and I wasn't even born now. Like that one kid, the one that made the waffles, unfortunately, who died a decently horrific death. You would think that, like there was more of them go, hey, we're not into this. But it seems like that's what you're saying. There's like factions even on the island where, the young kids are like,
Yeah.
what? Like, why are we doing this? 200 years ago, something happened and we're still complaining about it. Like, why do we do this, other than, tradition? So, I mean, is that factor of like a village community who live on an island by themselves. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like
Yeah.
interesting in that sense where like people do that kind of stuff. And then this family took advantage of it because they read a whole bunch of stuff. Because I mean, the mom had all this information about all these things about the island itself and their history. So she knew that it was a thing. And she actually knew that the whole village would be busy for what, 8
Yeah.
hours doing this. So I mean, and this lady thought she had the best play of her
Oh, yeah.
life. So it was like, I didn't know she was trying to kill herself at the end or like, but she was really into like, let's eat these people now. 200th anniversary, best play I've ever done. Let's fucking
I know.
go.
I don't know. It was just, yeah, because that's the thing. It's like I didn't care. I don't know. So there, like I said, there was parts that were for me and parts that didn't. And I don't know if it's because we dwelled too much on shit that I didn't care about. Because like the ending is so good because it's like, oh, here's the twist. Yay. And then it's like this
Hmm.
huge romp with, bloody whatever. And then like, then we're back to whatever. I don't know. I didn't care about the play. I didn't care about the town. I don't know. I thought it would.
Do you think they try to save the movie by having like the whole killing spree thing at the end? Like, I mean, because it seemed very Fuzz like, because in the end of Hot Fuzz, they go into the town and start killing off all the members of that secret society in
Well, aren't they
there. And this is
monsters or
like more.
something?
And Hot Fuzz, no, that's yeah, I think you're thinking of the the other one where they're the drinking one around the world. I think it is that they do where there's aliens or something like that at the end. But Hot Fuzz was more of a secret society that was trying to keep their city super clean so they could win an award for the best place to visit or something like that. And like that's why they were murdering like kids that were graffiti painting and stuff like that. But this was almost like gave the same vibe, but the difference is now they were murdering the opposite. A murdering group of people were trying to murder another murdering group of people.
Mhm.
In the conflict. But I mean, like it seemed like everything was kind of like, okay, this is going kind of nowhere right now. What's going on? What's happening? Oh, Matt's has decided to go on their side to like drug them. Oh shit, he's been following them, watching them, perving out on them. And then kind of when they're like, haha, we didn't eat the cookies, you fell for it. And then that's when all this mayhem like goes on. You kind of wonder, oh, does this kind of save the movie or does it not? I mean, the fact that Nick Frost gets his hand blown
Oh,
Oh
off
yeah.
and he acts like a flesh
'Cause it
wound. She gets shot in the chest with a shotgun. I'm like, yeah, what are you like Satanists? Like, I mean, are you demons really? Like, I'm wondering if there was some other like hidden things that we don't know about, maybe that they didn't get to put in. Like where because that wouldn't be too unrealistic for a Nick Frost movie where it goes to like some mystical ends or something. Did you guys think that, or how did you feel?
I didn't really think there was anything mystical. I don't know much about the Swedish people, but from Midsummer and this movie, it's strange when they like, especially during the play when it's showing the English versus the Swedish people, or I don't know if they're like Swedish natives or whatever from back then. And the Swedish people in both Midsummer and this movie are like dressed kind of like, I don't want to say like Native Americans, but very spiritual, charms, a lot of nature elements in their stuff. So like that
Mhm.
kind of like is I mean, I know this isn't what you were asking, but it made me think of it where I was like, are native Swedish people like as I don't want to say enchanted, but like are they mystical like the Native Americans you tend to believe and live their lives back then?
They're like,
I mean, for them, wouldn't that be more Viking type? Because I mean, Vikings were very more like godlike, and they had different gods for different things. I mean, that would be closer to that
That was
idea.
Ireland.
Scandinavian. I don't know. I really do. I need to learn more about European history, but I will say that it's like folksy. It's very like
Yeah.
folklore and all that shit. So
Mm.
shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend anybody when I said that.
Folklore and all that
But
trash. That's better. Just kidding.
Yeah,
but like
it's
you
like
know,
every other culture.
I know.
well, it would. I mean, it's not like Americans didn't appropriate that type of culture when the hippie movement was a thing, right? So it's kind of like in that vein.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
I don't know. I just feel like to to go back to Mikey's point about unanswered questions, there was a lot of like things that I probably would have liked to have seen resolved, which weren't. And especially when they killed the kid, I'm like, oh,
The
Mm.
boy, the son.
yeah, the son.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Who was gay, by the way, just so everybody
Yeah,
knows.
and he was gay. That's why he didn't take her underwear.
Yeah.
But we didn't even discuss the detective factor of this because there's a detective in this movie who is the one that discovers the dead bodies in the diner earlier on in the movie, and then later on. But he plays a part kind of at the end where he actually saves, I guess, the family technically from being shot by the
Stabbed. Yeah.
old
Yeah,
lady.
because he walks in at the wrong time.
Yeah, and shoots her because they don't have any weapons in their hand. I don't
Well,
think.
it looks like she's just gonna attack them, so he shoots her in the
Yeah.
head,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. He was kind of weird too, and then he drives away in a boat, and the guy that they think is doing the murders the whole time is, I guess, passed out in a boat and gets up, and so like that's the guy that's doing it all. Um,
And then randomly gets shot. Like that scene by itself. You're like, what is
I
going on
know.
here?
And then they just get away. And they're talking about everything like the policeman's not right behind them. So
Yeah. And they're yelling about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. So I don't know. I think the twist was really good. I think that's probably the biggest it was a huge surprise to me. And not that it was a surprise like like oh my God, but like I really enjoyed that part of it. So I think it's definitely worth the watch for this one. Will I
mhm.
watch this again? Probably not.
I am a little more I like the movie a little bit more. Because so like the twist, like Aid said, it's not like, terrifying, but it surprised me, which is big because I don't usually with everything we've seen these days, you can kind of see something coming. But when it happened, I was even like, wait, what? And I could feel my brain take like a little jump rope to itself. Like, what? Like it tripped on the jump rope for a second, and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, okay. Oh, this is the twist. And so, I was like, got me. Um, the only reason why, I mean, not the only reason, but I'm okay with watching it again because I would want to see if they had more hints or more things that I thought were weird that I just rubbed off as English that actually were like, no, it's because this family is a family of killers.
Yeah. And like I
That's
said,
so funny.
it's all comes together because things that are just strange. So that's why they would never leave, right? Like that's why they kept going into the situation because they knew what they were up against and they knew that
Yeah.
they were capable of handling it.
Mhm. Oh, and the
And
gore is very good too. It's very violent and bloody, so like that's a plus for me too.
yeah, and I don't really think any CGI from what I could tell.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if there was, they did a really good job at, keeping
Yeah.
that to a minimum. And it's fucking gory. So if you want a good shock at the end and like legitimate shock, because I think it's such a stark contrast seeing them as like this wholesome family and then like literally covered in blood and like looking feral and crazy and going after, especially seeing Nick Frost. And I know that he plays a like a crazy, like I don't know if he's a killer or whatever that taxi movie that he's in.
Oh, fuck that movie. Black Cadillac or whatever.
Oh,
Black
right.
Cab.
I don't,
I
yeah, I
think
don't
that's
know.
a ghost thing too.
Yeah. But also, so if you wanted a twist, you probably shouldn't listen to this episode because we ruined it for you.
Mm.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I would actually really like if there was a sequel that explained who put them together. So like I would like to see like a second movie where it's like a road trip movie that also just like explains what the faction behind them is. So that's just me.
Hmm.
Right, right. Like how they met and how they got to the
Who's
point where
putting
they
them
are
together?
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, I mean, we talked about most of it, but I think that the most interesting thing was that uh they were going to cast Lena Headey as the mother. So that would have been like
Hmm.
completely different movie if they had done that. Like the whole tone and everything would be completely shifted.
Yeah.
So and they were going to well, she had issues with the conflict or whatever, but eventually they ended up making the movie. And I thought it was interesting because a lot of people describe the film like as like hit or miss for them. So I think that's what we're getting at this point with all three of us. Because
Oh
Lance, you
yeah.
didn't say if you liked it or not.
I, I think if you can get past some of the stuff and some of the funny parts keep you going, because if you don't find certain things funny, you're ending this movie real fast. Like before that any of the actual blood and guts start getting going. Um, Luckily, I'm just a Nick Frost fan, so like I was willing to kind of go, okay, there's got to be a payoff here. You know what I mean? So like if you have that vibe about it, you're gonna enjoy the end because that was it was a great end, a lot of gore, a lot of fun, a lot of campy little moments. Even the part where he ends up killing the son.
It's fine. I mean, I would recommend somebody watch it once, but I don't think it's going to be a rewatch for me, like I said.
Yeah.
And Mikey once
I liked it. I liked it more than I didn't. Um, don't regret watching it. I don't think it was funny, but I don't feel like it was to me, there weren't parts that I was like, oh, they're trying to be funny, but it's not. I really like the mom. To me, like, Nick Frost is probably the most famous person in this movie, but I kind of think the mom carried the movie for me because every time she was on screen, I was just glued to her, like her attitude, she was just a badass. Because at first I was like, she just don't give a fuck, but then at the end I'm like, oh no, she's like killing people.
I thought her moment of Zen was where she just out of nowhere goes, "You want a blowjob?" And Nick Frost is like, It's like, and they also do it in front of the mirror.
Well,
by the
also
way.
like whenever they when they kill the son and they're like, why would you do that? And Nick Frost says something and he's like, I forgot what he says, and the mom and the daughter look at each other and they're like, do we forgive him? And they're like pretending they're whispering in his ears, and Nick Frost is like, y'all aren't really whispering to each other. And I was like, this is so funny. Like that part was funny because it's Nick Frost and the mom's chemistry. I don't know if other actors would have made it funny, but
Yeah. Well, I think like if you watch the trailer though, it is marketed as like a horror comedy.
Yeah.
So if you're going in there expecting that, you will be
Don't.
disappointed. You don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
The random thing though about the daughter though, before we go, I did forget that little comment she made when he was trying to like act like they're still like daughter and father type deal, and she's like, what kind of drugs do you do? And he's like, don't worry about the weed thing, and she's like, well, what kind of do you do? And she's like, oh, coke and fat cock. And I'm like, holy shit!
Like, oh, did I write this script?
Mikey's like, yes.
Wow.
But with that being said, it's our time's up. We have run our course and we are letting it go. Again, as you can tell, all of us have kind of mixed feelings about this movie. And so use your own judgment. Check it out. Hopefully we didn't ruin it for you if you went through the whole thing with us. Or if you did and you already saw it already, tell us what you think. Tell us what you thought. Talk shit to us or don't talk to us. Either or. So that's a wrap on this week's episode. Want to see our faces while rambling and figure out what Lance's words of the week is? That's me. Yep. Check out our video cast over at youtube.com/slashers podcast. Plus, don't miss our bi-monthly deep dives into all things horror, nerdy, and on the comic chop. Only on YouTube. A hot collab with Slashers Podcast and much ado about nerding with our boy Joe. We appreciate you. Exclusive content or just can't get enough of us? Join us on Patreon for our monthly exclusives. Please hit us up. It only starts off at $1 and then it goes up from there. We have different tiers. We're going to be doing some stuff where we'll be promoting what kind of tiers we have and what you can get. So please enjoy that. I'm going to keep reading it as written. Sorry. Let's see. Join us on Patreon for monthly exclusive reviews, bonus episodes, and some killer new perks. Head over to patreon.com/slasherspod and become part of the band. Street Team, want to rock some Slashers swag or merch, is available on Redbubble, where you support loud and proud slasherspod.redbubble.com. Let's see. Join the conversation. We're hanging out on Instagram. So at slasherspod for everything pod related. Mutant Goons from Beyond for all things weird and wonderful. Hopefully we'll be having a poll this Wednesday. I actually have a really cool one. It actually kind of goes along with something we did for our last episode this Monday. Actually today technically. I forgot what day today is. So it would be fun to hear what you guys think and make sure you check that out on Wednesdays. Let's see. Want to tell us directly? You can find us on social media. If you want to talk shit to me, you can. If not, you can hit Aid at Pathological Aid, or Mikey at Horror and a Half Shell, or me at Zombie VS Hate.
Did you forget your own screen name?
I know.
I just like doing it like that.
Yeah.
Sorry. If you can't figure out the devil box known as Instagram, then find us on Facebook. Come chill in the Mutant Goons from Beyond group for all the chaos. Shout out to our B Movie TV fam. Catch Doug on Friday Night Action and Yahira on Saturday Night Terras, only on Roku. A big thanks to our amazing Patreons. All right, folks, let's see if I can get you guys' names right. I apologize if I fuck it up.
It's been over a year with the
But at
same
the same-
people, Lance. If you fuck it up,
I know. I just hate you all. I'm just
Wow.
kidding.
I still don't
Well,
think
you
he can say my full name, so I think that
he can't even say Roku. He said Ruku.
he can't say Roku.
He can't say
Ruku.
terror. He says Terra.
Terras.
God. Anyways. All right. So, Josh Gunn, dinosaurs will always be awesome. Lorraine Ellis, Kevin Leamy, Vladimir Lewis, Leslie Thurman, and Cam. Thanks for coming on and paying and loving us, and hopefully getting more people on to Patreon so we can have more names so I can maybe fuck them up or not fuck them up. Who knows? If you want to join the team, head over to patreon.com/slasherspod and become part of the horror family. As always, thanks for listening, and remember, stay spooky.
Jesus, it took forever.
Why are we like Sean Connerying that at the end?
I have no
Okay.
idea. Goodbye and goodbye and don't die.
Bye. Oh, why did I do that? No, it's goodbye.
Yeah. Lance says die. And then I
I'm
go.
so tired.
Anyways, have a good week, everybody. Bye.
All right, stay safe.